Losing my SJW friend circle. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and occasionally I do pause and think about the hundreds and hundreds of former friends that I no longer am in contact with who are, or at least were, SJWs. And it can be kind of sad. Nobody likes losing friends, even if they were just acquaintances that you were always fond of. There are a few people that I hope to be friends with again someday, but they'll almost unanimously have to apologize to me. There comes a point in our lives where we realize that in order to stay friends with certain people, we would end up having to lie constantly because these people see the world very differently than we do. And in the case of SJWs, they have been caught in the grips of an ideology that demands that they constantly demonize white straight men, or white people, or all men, or really anybody who defies the ideology. And if somebody does defy the ideology, they must attack them publicly and unapologetically. For me, eventually, I just couldn't pretend to be okay with that attitude anymore, and it was rampant in hundreds of people that I knew in real life. With the SJWs, it wasn't simply that these people had prejudices against white men and whomever else they were targeting that day or that hour. It was that the entire way they saw the world was built on a construct of bigotry. These people felt that if they did not devote their every waking moment towards attacking people based on their identities and overcompensating to privilege historically marginalized groups, then I guess the entire world would be unfair, and then if they weren't fighting to constantly change this unfair world, then they would be as good as slave owners, or whatever. If they didn't truly believe that, which I suspect most of them didn't, they at least had to act like it in front of their friends. When it got really bad, I saw where this was headed, and I knew it wasn't anywhere good. I've devoted a lot of time and energy taking apart what's wrong with this ideology, piece by piece, to the best of my abilities in my videos, so I'll spare you all of that here. Basically, I saw not only that it was shitty and destructive towards the white straight men that were being attacked, but I also always had the inevitable backlash in mind when I fought against social justice warrior culture. For example, when I talked to early Black Lives Matter activists online and saw just how poorly they responded to any criticism, I basically knew then and there that a new white nationalist movement was coming in a few years. And now, here it is. Still, while I told my SJW friend circle lots of things, the main thing that I said over and over was that it was important for people to stay friends with their friends. But not a lot of people really listened to that. I told countless friends of mine not to let differences of opinion on political and socio-political issues divide us, but ironically, it seemed like half the time I said that, they lashed out at me and unfriended me on Facebook, and I haven't spoken to them since. When I would tell people that remaining friends with each other is so much more important than whether or not we agree that the white cis heterosexual patriarchy is ruining civilization, like clockwork, almost unanimously, these people would use that statement from me as an excuse to say that I was complicit in this supposed white cis het patriarchy because I was not basing my entire life around fighting it, and therefore they could not be my friend. I saw countless people, some even my friends, saying things like, "You're either with us or against us," and the question always remained, who are you fighting against? What army? When you say you're either with us or against us, do you not realize that the entire world might end up against you? How is that not clear? There was a certain point where it would really sting when I'd lose friends like these, but not because I didn't think I was right. I always knew it was them with the problem. And if I ever decided to write them an email out of the blue, which occasionally I did months later when I was drunk, I always said something to the effect of, So, do you still base every waking moment obsessing about racism like a racist person would? If not, you can hang out with your non racist friends again. I kind of miss you, but I'd prefer you not be a racist. Still, as time went on, things got easier. I've become more and more brazen in my social circles and have attracted some amount of new friends, or individuals within my friend circle that have expressed similar feelings against social justice warriors. Sure, with that increased visibility of my beliefs has also come hardships. Rumors about me being a white supremacist transphobe occasionally come back to me, or I find that people who are still on my Facebook friend list are talking shit about how they think I'm completely insane, but for whatever reason, they don't unfriend me. Those types, I might just unfriend myself. Ultimately, though, I don't regret it one bit because I am living my life day to day knowing that I'm living my truth. And I know that the people that I attract from this point onward will be people who like me for me, and not some tragic compromise of my own integrity, self imposed from living in fear of being attacked all day, every day, at every angle by pure lunacy. Simply put, I don't want to be friends with people who make me miserable and then lie about it. Sure, I'm 35 years old and maybe I'll never be the life of the party like I was in my early 20s. But I trust that living with as close to as pure of a heart as I can is the right decision, and that more and more people will join me, and eventually it won't be so lonely. I've made a lot of great friends from YouTube, and some of it has spilled over into real life. I can only imagine there will be a lot more to come. That's all I have to say for this video. Drop me a comment. Help me out on Patreon so I can keep making videos and making new friends, and stay tuned.